Thanks for being with us here tonight on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Wednesday, August 13th. Wednesday means another Utah's missing. We'll hear from Candice Cooley, the mother of Dylan Rounds and a member of the Great Basin Canine Search and Rescue Team, discussing resources available for families with missing loved ones.
Giving false hope to families, making promises that cannot be fulfilled. So any good search and rescue group is going to work with law enforcement.
Well, families with missing loved ones often struggle with where they can turn for help. That was Candice Cooley, the mother of Dylan Rounds, who we've covered extensively here at 2 News. Dylan went missing from remote Box Elder County in May 2022. His remains were found nearly 2 years later. This was a murder case. Candice has since started Dylan's Legacy, working to help families in need when a loved one goes missing. Along with Sonja Nordstrom, former FBI and now Great Basin Canine Search and Rescue Team, spoke to me about the difficult dynamic for families who are going through a missing person situation. Take a listen. We highlight a lot of missing persons cases on Utah's Missing. Every single week we're trying to bring you the newest information, but also resources for families and different opportunities for those families that are going through it. Unfortunately, we have a really good resource here that knows kind of what that is like, but also is working to help other families that are going through this. Candice Cooley with Dylan's Legacy, kind enough to join us here. And Candice, before we get to obviously what else we have here with us, where should families be looking for help beyond law enforcement, beyond the agency that's working the case?
So that's where it gets difficult, Brian, because most all of our organizations work with law enforcement. The problem is when people go beyond, that is when we're starting to see organizations that aren't following guidelines, regulations, they can hurt cases. They're also giving false hope to families, making promises that cannot be fulfilled. So any good search and rescue group is going to work with law enforcement.
And what do you look for when you see some of these groups kind of pop up? And in some cases, we've seen them kind of come up out of thin air, offering these services that may or may not be really truthful. Mm-hmm. What are some of the credibility that you're looking for behind the people that are working these along with these families that are going through it and really vulnerable?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is credentials. Everybody should be licensed. If it's a PI, they should be licensed. If it's canine handlers, they should be certified. They should have training logs. They should have all of that stuff. And the biggest issue is you should not be paying these people. You should never pay anybody to come in and help find your loved one. That is the biggest red flag.
So here we have Vigo and canine handler Sonja, and it's great to have you both with us from
Thank you.
Great Basin Canine Search and Rescue. What is Vigo's specialty?
Vigo is a one-trick wonder, and he finds only human remains. Within that, he finds the full spectrum, meaning to very, very old, for even survey work of Native American remains or whatever might need to be done, but also for the missing person who has recently expired.
Now, why do you do this?
It's a long story. I've been at it over 30 years. I was an FBI special agent, and so I started doing it when I was an agent. I was working violent crimes, kidnappings, and I've always been an absolute lover of dogs, and I fell into it, and I fell in with the police canines, and so this is dog number 6, and I'm starting dog number 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have 2 at a time right now or more?
Just overlapping because
Okay.
he's getting into his, he's getting a little bit past his prime. He's still pretty prime, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time to get these dogs up and running.
What's the process like getting a dog up and running and then seeing it through for a number of years?
Yeah, it's they typically will certify by age 2 if you've started them and properly selected, properly cultivated. And then they hit their perfection at 4. And then by 8, you start to see things. They're so great, they can read your mind, everything's perfect. But then you start to see the physicality start to wane. So that's where I started another puppy, maybe a little too soon, but then they help each other, and
Your experience with the FBI, what did you take from that to what you do today?
Oh, a lot. Investigatively, I was a member of the evidence response team in Los Angeles. I was called to go on several kidnap investigations throughout the West, into Mexico, into Saudi Arabia. So there's so much more investigatively, the protocols, the maintaining evidence, the not destroying things, the dealing with victims, dealing with witnesses. So it's so much more than just the dog. I think a lot of people think, I have a great dog and I'm going to do this. Well, the handler is a big piece of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a team.
Yeah, and the integrity, being able to document properly, being able to testify properly, being able to have your evidence stand.
Now, how busy have you been in Utah? I know that's a loaded question.
Not really, but I wouldn't say that it's more or less. It kind of comes in spurts. Interestingly, with the advent of cell phones and pagers and satellite pagers, there's a lot more rescuing going on than recovery. So the helicopter finds people, like the young girl who was wonderfully found. Helicopter finds her. She's able-bodied, she made her way out, and she was located. So we tend to be looking for people that either don't want to be found or are victims of crime. And that's a tougher thing to manage.
Now, Candice, you've been in a unique spot because you've gone through this.
Correct.
I think a lot of people are familiar with Dylan's story, his situation, and people have seen it in the news and on social media throughout the years. Now that you're in this role, kind of working with these families, trying to help other families go through this with the positive outcome, what do you want them to know about what is out there for them and what they should be looking for, and just this whole process? I mean, we hear of a new missing person scenario, and everything's different back at home. Everyone has their at-home circumstances, but what are the big things you want families to know that are going through this?
So I want them to know that there's resources to reach out to, like Sonja and I, to know that everybody's going to come at you. Media's going to come at you. YouTube is horrible. We all know how Dylan's case went. Don't fall into those traps, and it's not going to help. It will not help bring your loved one home, and all it does is send you down rabbit holes. Go to Dylan's Legacy, go to Missing in America Network, go to people like Sonja. I mean, there's organizations out there like us that you can look up and you know we're credible, and we will help them.
Now, I know there's, you went through it with law enforcement too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is something that I hear about all the time. First thing I hear about right away is they're not doing, I'm sharing, by the way, I'm not saying, they're not doing anything, I can't see what they're doing, they're not returning my calls. What do you recommend for the families that are working with law enforcement, maybe smaller departments, maybe departments that are reaching out to other agencies like the FBI, for example? How do you navigate that?
So in all honesty, Dylan's case was unique. I have worked 17 cases that are closed now, and I have not had any problem with law enforcement. We get case files, we help them with phone data. They're trying. They're understaffed, they're underfunded, they're undereducated, not of their making. If they say they're trying, 99% of them are. They're doing everything within their power, but in steps people like us who have more education to give these departments, just like the training we did in Utah on the phone data. So here's this education, guys, and we just gave it to Oregon, and it flipped 2 of their cases. That'll be solved now.
What does it feel like to have the successes come from what you've learned?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, even from what all of us have learned from what building
They're hard lessons.
They're hard lessons, but it's good to be able to give families some peace.
Well, this is a tough topic to talk about anyway, and for both of you, in a way, you live it, right? And we share it, and it's a balance between delicacy of families and emotions and time, working against time and evidence and all these things. There are so many factors that go into missing cases because no 2 cases is the same.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, and it's hard. A lot of these cases, we have nowhere to start. There's nowhere to go. There's no phone data. There's no last known location. There's nowhere to go. So what do? And that's where we see a lot of these teams come in, especially with canines, and say, oh, I can find them and track them. No, you're not going to track somebody with no last known location.
So find reputable sources,
Yes.
stick with law enforcement the best you can, reach out to those that have gone through this and have the background, the knowledge and understanding if you are going through this sort of thing. The things we want to share with folks that are out there that are going through this situation. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So glad we were able to have them both in for that conversation. It is vital to, as Candice said, not fall into that trap, not fall into that situation where you're getting all these groups coming at you. If you're in a situation where a loved one is missing, they want to help. In some cases, they want to charge you. Candice says don't do that. But she also wanted to make sure families knew if you're having any type of problem with law enforcement, you should always ask for a victim's advocate. The agency will or should provide one, even if they have to go to the state level. According to Salt Lake Police, a victim's advocate is a trained individual who have been the victim of a crime. They encourage anyone who has been the victim of a crime to call and receive the assistance. The services are free, and individuals can call from a blocked number, use an alias, or elect to remain anonymous. A police report is not required to receive any of this assistance. Now, if you're interested in getting involved as a canine handler, doesn't it seem cool? You want to donate to the cause or simply learn more about Sonja and her team, you should head over to their website, Great Basin Canine SAR, that's SAR.org. There you can learn more about the services they provide and how you can help. You know, Sonja was telling me we don't like to put out all the things we're doing. We try to keep this kind of, under the microscope, but we do a lot of work, and it takes a really special person because Great Basin Canine is an all-volunteer team, no paid staff, very low administrative overhead. Donations go directly to support the team's response and preparedness. By the way, they are very reputable. They have worked on some very large cases. They may not put it out in the media, but they've done a lot of work for a long time. A great deal of respect for everything that they do. For continued coverage on Utah's missing cases, join us Wednesdays, 7 o'clock, right here on Arc Salt Lake. We are dedicated to helping Utahns find answers or closure. Like always, you can, and I suggest you do, reach out to me on social media. I get back to everybody if you have a case you want us to look into. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, it's a 30-year-old cold case, no answers. How this child's mother and a new investigative team hope to close the case and get some answers. Welcome back. An unsolved homicide in Salt Lake City 30 years to the day. On this day in 1995, 6-year-old Rosie Tapia was found dead in a surplus canal near Redwood Road and 17th South. Surrounded by members of the Salt Lake City Police Department, Rosie's mother spoke today about her daughter's unsolved murder. She said, "Never give up hope, because one day we'll get justice." Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd, also there today, spoke about the case and what they're looking for to answer the question, who killed Rosie Tapia?
Here on the 30th anniversary of her murder, we are hoping that we get new leads. We're hoping that this gets out today and someone will come forward and help us.
Chief Redd said they're committed to following any lead, using new technology to help solve this case. Rosie's mother believes there are people out there with information regarding Rosie's death. And while Rosie isn't missing, there is a void in the closure of her case. 2 News has been covering this case since the beginning. Dig back into the archives. Look at this video from 1995. Rosie's mother believes there are still people out there with information regarding her daughter's death.
I know there's people out there that has information, that knows about what happened to my Rosie, but they're not just coming forward. But I want them to know that there's still that cash reward out for any information on Rosie's case. Oh, I think about her all the time. I have her pictures around my house and I talk to her all the time.
So that reward last we checked was $100,000 for information leading to the arrest of somebody involved in Rosie's death. It's not clear if there are any potential leads right now or if the previous sketch that was released in 2019 resulted in any findings, bringing investigating agencies closer to Rosie's killer. Chief Redd said they're committed to following any new leads, using any new technology they can to help solve the case. He also made a plea to the public for anyone with information to come forward and share that information with Salt Lake City Police. Let's get a check on your forecast here. Meteorologist Sean Kelly with us now with his first alert forecast tonight.
Well, we did it again, triple-digit temperatures. This was the 6th triple-digit day of the season. 101 degrees, well above normal here. The good news is the worst of this heat is behind us here, as we are going to see some cooler days ahead. You'll see the temperatures here have been a little bit warmer from yesterday, 5 to 8 degrees here for much of the state. Temperatures up and down the Wasatch Front into the triple digits to upper 90s, 99 Delta, 102 in St. George, and into the Page area, 101 in Moab, and 100 degrees in Hanksville. We've been seeing some lighter winds here up and down the Wasatch Front, which has been great news for that wildfire up in the Ogden area. Could be much worse if these winds were really strong here, and it's a little bit gusty in the Wendover area where we have some weakening thunderstorms, but generally the winds have not been much of an issue today. They will be more of an issue tomorrow, though, where we could see some 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts in a few isolated areas, because we're going to have a better chance for some dry thunderstorms moving in, producing some microburst winds. So we'll watch out for that risk as we head into Friday. A little bit lighter winds here for much of the state. So we're going on 40 days now without any rain here in Salt Lake City, 23 days in St. George. You'll see a little bit of moisture up towards the north and west. It's going to kind of miss much of the area here today as it pushes up towards the north and east and into southern Idaho here with some patchy drizzle south of I-70. You can see a few of those thunderstorms weakening up towards the north. So we'll start off quiet tomorrow morning, a little bit cloudy, and then we'll get that better chance for some showers and thunderstorms, mainly across the higher terrain, Uintas, Wasatch Mountains, but could maybe see an isolated shower here work its way to the valley floors. I wouldn't count on it, but it's a possibility. And then especially down across southern Utah, you could see some passing showers or thunderstorms with a better chance for rain, mainly across our southern areas as we get into Friday. And with those showers on Friday, we have the chance to see maybe some localized flash flooding. So you'll need to be weather aware if you're heading to any of our national parks on Friday and perhaps even into Saturday as well. Be mindful of that. Avoid the flood-prone areas, including the slot canyons. We're into the 70s and 60s as we head into the overnight. We're not quite as hot tomorrow, but we'll see some of those thunderstorms kind of in and around the area. We'll have high temperatures into the mid and upper 90s in St. George. You're looking at 105 down to 100 for Friday. 90s for both Saturday and Sunday. Hotter and drier as we make our way into next week. So we've really got just the next 3 days to see that chance for rain. and then the same thing across the Wasatch Front. Hotter than normal here the next few days, but we're starting a nice cooling trend with that chance for rain. Drier on Sunday, and then we're heating things back up as we head into next week.
All right, thank you, Sean. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, a young man shot twice during a drive-by shooting at 11 years old, now 15 years later, proving where you start doesn't have to be where you finish. A Missouri man who survived a life-threatening incident as a child is ready to start a new chapter in his life. Jordan Hughes, the first of his 10 siblings to graduate from community college, heading to St. Louis's Washington University with an impressive full scholarship award. Jordan was shot twice during a drive-by shooting when he was just 11 years old. 15 years later, he's proving where you start doesn't have to be where you finish. Now, with the semester starting in a few weeks, he's getting everything in order, including the acceptance letter that he says changed his entire life for the better. Before we go tonight, I want to give you a live look, if we can, from the North Ogden area. Thank you, crew. I appreciate you. I know we were working together to get this done quickly, but there is some new information on the Willard Peak fire, which you can clearly see here. The wind is picked up in the area. Fire information staff are talking to members of the media right now. Members from the Division of Forestry, Fire and State Lands, the city, and Northview Fire District, which is in the area. Last acreage update was about 150 to 200 acres. Keep in mind, these are all estimates until they can map the fire. There were 60 homes that they evacuated in this area. They had one area, then they moved to a different area, and this is impacting purely the North Ogden location. But you see that large plume going up, and then the residual smoke just circulating and pushing west further into the valley. We have 3 crews in North Ogden tonight. We'll have very extensive coverage coming up tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. I just wanted to give you this live look because we talked about it during a lot of our newscasts at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. We had to do it here at 7. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Take care.